Here is my thesis. The greatest public service the church can perform for its community and for the world is this: celebrate Easter. A true, beautiful, and good celebration of Easter. Several years ago, there was a thing on the internet asking churches to dance on Easter morning. You were encouraged to learn the dance and then video it on Easter. It started in Budapest, Hungary, where God is up to some amazing things. Here's the video from Budapest.
That day will be remembered as the greatest day in history. The fate of the world changed in one glorious moment, when life triumphed on Resurrection Sunday.
Searching for life, the day will be brighter. The message of freedom rings in the sky, spreading the fire. The flag of a nation ready to fly, taking them higher. The heart of the land that rises to fight, full of desire.
When nothing is as you want it to be,
look up to heaven.
Freedom was paid for on Calvary.
The chain is broken,
making the way right to destiny.
Borders are open,
Jesus has granted the victory.
When Sunday morning,
joy in this lifetime, utterly free,
utterly free.
The world gives beyond what you see.
For nations to start to rise, their hope is in Jesus Christ.
If the giants come, just hold on. The advantage is now on your side.
Jesus will take the final fight.
Fight on that Sunday morning. It broke through the boundaries of time. Hearts are shining, calling to all mankind. Let's celebrate eternal life.
When nothing is as you want it to be, look up to heaven. Freedom was paid for on Calvary. The chain is broken, making a way right to destiny. Borders are open, and Jesus has granted the victory. When Sunday morning,
Joy in this lifetime, utterly free. More than the world gives, beyond what you see.
For nations it's time to rise. Their hope is in Jesus Christ. If the giants come, just hold on. The advantage is now on your side.
Jesus will take the final fight.
Fight on that Sunday morning. That Sunday morning. Through the boundaries of time. Hearts are shining, shining to all mankind. Let's celebrate eternal life.
When something in you says you're not true, something whispers you need to go to. You say that things just can't stay this way. Your heart is calling, mayday, mayday. The world is just trouble, get out of your mother. Jump, now's the time, take your chance on the double. Leave it behind, you'll see, you won't mind. Once you meet Jesus, the answer you'll find. Don't Google your noodle or consult your poodle. Just follow your heart and it will be super. Wake up, see the light, find new life in his life. With him inside, he'll take you to new heights. The rescue's begun, now someone's come. Be looking to the sky, but not for Air Force One. The way out is up, up and away. With Jesus today is Independence Day.
Shining, calling to all mankind. Let's celebrate eternal life.
anyone watch this dance or join the dance and not have a heart full of Easter? Can anyone watch this dance and not feel resurrection everywhere? For resurrection is all about a 4-letter word, a life that triumphs over death. Will you join the resurrection dance or won't you? It's your choice. Will you live your life in a confined space, a prison cell, or would you prefer to live your life out of the box? Who would possibly choose for confinement over freedom? No one. And yet, eventually, almost all of us do. We winnow down our life choices. We sieve out our career selections. We sift events and experiences into important versus insignificant. The more we determine what is crucial to our life plan, the more we dismiss people, places, and possibilities that might throw a monkey wrench into the preconceived prequel of our life, the more we arrange our life according to what we like, the more we remove ourselves from what we don't know and don't like, the more we put ourselves into a box. Who was it who first said, "The only difference between a rut and the grave is the depth"? Easter is all about blowing out the box. Easter is all about unlooked for possibilities. Easter is all about the enormity of new ways to live and breathe and have your being. For our children, we put Easter in the context of baby chicks and brightly colored eggs, the symbols of new life. But the real guts of Easter is much more confrontational and challenging. Easter is the possibility for a truly new beginning, a beginning that can only emerge after a truly conclusive cult closure. If every year's Easter is a celebration of a resurrection, then every year something must die to this world in order to find itself reborn. The women, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary, who journeyed to view Jesus' tomb, were without hope of anything but staring at a rock-blocked cavern. But they were knocked upside the head by no less than an earthquake. The earth upon which these women stood, the strata upon which they trusted their existence, shifted and changed as they viewed the tomb. The earthquake, Matthew recorded, was a faithquake, for the world of faith was forever jolted and regenerated from that moment on. After the earthquake, there was a recalibration of reality before those first witnesses. Events were not going to unfold according to acceptable theological norms. Who were the first persons to witness the ruled away tomb? Who were the first persons spoken to by the angel perfectly perched upon the former tombstone? They were no count, lowbrow, without clout women. If you wanted to redeem Jesus' reputation, you certainly would not choose Mary Magdalene and the other Mary as your first and best witnesses. That was so out of the box. There's absolutely no reasonable scenario for all the gospel writers to claim that women were the first witnesses to Jesus' resurrection. It was a claim that almost guaranteed the rejection of the resurrection to most people. But it was a claim so out of the box, it grabbed the attention. It grabbed the hearts of those who had heard Jesus, who witnessed the persecution, who experienced the fervor of the first disciples. Jesus lived his whole life out of the box. He chose to wander without a steady source of income. He was wifeless and childless. He willingly moved from his homeland of Galilee to Samaria and down to the region of religious orthodoxy, Jerusalem, in order to engage the maximum number of people. Jesus was not concerned he was venturing out of the box. Jesus was not a keep it in control kind of guy. Do you know crocodiles are one of the few animals in nature that keep growing as long as they keep living? In other words, there is no limit to how big a crocodile can grow. And they grow about a foot a year. So you know very quickly how old a crocodile is. But there is one little qualifier. A crocodile will only grow as big as the container it finds itself in. If you keep your baby croc in a shoebox, you would forever have a shoebox-sized crocodile. But if you transplant it into an aquarium and then into a larger container, say a bathtub or a river, the croc would happily expand to fulfill its new greater space. Crocodiles grow to whatever size box they're put into. In many ways, we do the exact same thing. We've heard it for so long. It's hard to dismiss out of the box as some trite phrase. That phrase first came into currency in the 1970s when a 9-dot puzzle, which challenged players to connect all the dots in 4 lines without lifting pen from paper, became popular. This simple puzzle made popular the phrase, if not the reality, of out of the box. People began to intentionally think about a life lived outside pre-established boundaries. Living outside the box has become a common litany in the last half-century. The continuing challenge, however, is understanding the ever-evolving boxes people are living in as our world, our technologies, continue to unfold. I bought a box recently to put my tax documents in and couldn't believe what I saw. If you examine the flattened pattern for a box, you will see it makes the shape of a cross. That flattened, blown apart cross pattern is made to be reassembled into a box. Here's what I mean. Jesus was crucified on a box, the religious box, the political box, the box thinking of the first century crucified the Son of God. The visual message of Easter is the box of a self-contained, self-absorbed, self-obsessed life blown apart, blown into the flatness of the cross. Jesus' crucifixion blew away the safe compartmentalization of the world. It exploded the power of sin and death upon human beings. Jesus' crucifixion imploded the sin-besotted existence of humanity and cleared the way for grace and redemption. On Easter Sunday, we celebrate that no box could hold Jesus, the Messiah, the Son of God. Jesus took on himself the box of death and then blew that box to smithereens in the most miraculous manner possible. The gospel text shows us how out of the box was Jesus' resurrection. His resurrection occurred after the Holy Sabbath, on a Sunday, which held no meaning for Jews. His resurrection was witnessed first by women, persons who did not count legally as official witnesses. His resurrection was to be completed in Galilee through the ascension, not in Holy Jerusalem. Out of the box living and dying and resurrecting challenges all of us to rethink our identity. Are you exploding your boxes? Are you exploding the boxes other people find themselves living in? Or are you all boxed in? You can think of boxes as safe havens, as established, esteemed ways of being and behaving. Or you can question the boxes you are handed as pre-dug graves, places that kill creativity and crucify again our Lord. Jesus did not fit into anyone's box. That is his greatest ongoing Easter gift to us. He broke out of the box of sin. He bashed the box of death. He smashed the box of judgment. He broke down every devil's box. Jesus took a sledgehammer to all boxes, replacing those boxy walls with God's blue skies of compassion and grace. Christ is risen. He is risen indeed. Rise from your graves. Break out of your boxes. Jesus has set you free.